passwords for lots of different things. Cool. So the brilliant thing with the cloud is I no longer have to be on site to do anything. So the network before, well the one we've kind of run side by side at the moment is HP Pro Curves. Very good for their day, but as I say, not quite where we need to be now. I can't do that outside of the, well, I can do it outside of the college, but I have to jump through a lot of hoops to get to it. This, I can do on my phone, I can do it in Portugal, I can do it anywhere in the world. As long as I've got internet, I can do it. It's not locked to the UK, I can do it anywhere in the world. So all I need to know from the support guys is, Danny, when you change XYZ port to a Mac VLAN. Right, yeah, no worries, I can jump on and change it. I change it in the cloud, and within about 40 seconds, the cloud pushes the config down to the switch, wherever it is in the college, and the switch updates. It's as simple as that. I can see traffic live. So being the cloud, say live, it's about 40 seconds behind, which is still pretty good, so I can't see it like for like, exactly like I can with the firewall, but I can generally see, I can get a feel for what the kind of bandwidth is across the college. This is Aruba Central. Aruba Central is our Wi-Fi and all of our LAN, so all of the network pretty much. We've done most sites onto it now, so this kind of gives you quite a good overview. So we're going to see the first thing it's going to show us is obviously a map of Exeter. That's because it knows where all the switches are in obviously relation to ourselves, and obviously if they're too close together, it groups them together. If it's green, there's no issues. If it's red, it means there's an issue. Now, I'll ruin it. The issues are some of the access points aren't on at the moment for various reasons, which we need to go and look at, but just running out of time. There's only a few. So that's what this represents. It's a really quick overview of the site as a whole. The whole network as a whole is on that page. So I can see the remote sites are fine. So I can see Technology Centre's fine. I can see Falcon House is fine. I can see that Future Skills Centre's got one access point offline, which I know about. And 21, that unfortunately is grouped. It's Hill Road and Queen Street. We can zoom into it, and you'll see the lots of different sites that we have. I can zoom into it now. We can see their CMP, which is just up the road from you guys, is absolutely fine. And we can see Vic House has got, or it could be Vic House, it might be CCI, it could be Sports Hall, so actually Victoria House is fine, it's the Sports Hall. We can go on to devices. So we can see all the access points for the college. So these are, some of them are offline, some of them we know about. We think there's a power cut this morning at the Globe, which is why all the Globe. So the Globe's a little site just over the road. We think there's a power cut, so that's why they're all offline. But we can see for the most part 363 devices are online, so these are all the Wi-Fi. And from there we get a breakdown. We can obviously see where it is, what the name is. We can see how many people connected to it. So obviously the LRC ones are the ones that get the most traffic. We can have about 150 people on one access point at any one time. And they can cope with that, they're really powerful, so they can cope with lots more than that. If we feel it's bottlenecking, we can deploy them out. They take a few minutes to kind of deploy out. We've got boxes of them in our storage place. For me, I can see what switch they're connected to. So we can see the names of them here. So Falcon House Edge 3. Obviously there's lots of switches in buildings generally, so we have a naming scheme so I kind of know where they are. So I can quickly have a look. If there's an issue, I can find it. And obviously we can see the firmware, we can see the MAC address. So the good thing with the cloud as well, I haven't got to go to every single switch in the college and manually update them. I can literally go into the firmware settings in here, say push this firmware out, tell it what hours I want it to go out and go out. I come back the next day, it's done. If it hits the time, it's not pushing them out. It's really, really powerful as well. Clients, I won't show you too much of this, but this is every single one of you on the network. So at the moment, we've got 5,166 people on the network. These are all failed attempts, so these can be things like the password's not updated. There can be lots of reasons why it doesn't work, but we can see that lots of people are online at the moment. We've got 5,166, which is about right to be fair for this time of day. But that's everybody who's managed to authenticate it is online. So that'll be people like myself, because there's a couple of networks that you won't necessarily see. There's one for staff. Obviously the biggest one is Edge Road, which is what you're all sat on. So we can see that. If I need to find someone, so if the states need to find someone, we can find them very, very quickly. I can just literally go on here. I can say, my phone's on the Wi-Fi at the moment, so I, obviously like you guys, we have to log in with our email address. If I just type my name, We'll start going through. You can see I'm connected. You can see my IP address. You can see what rooms I'm in. So one of my devices is in Tower Building in the IT Systems room, which will be one of my devices. And the other one is in IoT Ground Floor Lecture Theatre, which is my laptop. You can see we're both on edge room, both good health. And that's how we can find people. So if there's an emergency and we need to find one of you, we can generally find you fairly quickly if we need to. We don't use it. As I say, we're not allowed to use it only when we're given special permission to find someone. The states need to find someone. This is a safeguarding issue, which we've had to do before. We can generally find people quite easily. That's the Wi-Fi side of the business. We can turn SSIDs off very quickly. So if there's a need to turn off edge roam, for whatever reason, we can turn it off. 30 seconds, it goes off. If I need to bring the new one up, so we have one for events, because the college gets rented out for a lot of events, we can do that as well within a few minutes. Applications, so this is what shows us what's being used the most. So this is for the last 3 hours, but actually, let's just go for a month. So the good thing with the cloud, all the data is retained. If we go for a month, it's going to show us lots of data. So we can see APNs, which is Apple push notifications. This is stuff like iMessage, FaceTime, anything Apple orientated is classed as an APN. That's used the most kind of data at the moment. And then we can go down, we've got some CDNs, which is content delivery networks. Instagram is up there. So for some reason we're not using as much data as we did last year. Last year's group seemed to use a lot more than this year. We still use quite a bit. And you can go down and you can see the breakdown of everything. YouTube and Apple.com, Snapchat. But this doesn't represent the whole of the college data. This is only stuff that's traversing over Wi-Fi generally in the LAN. The firewall is the best tool for that kind of stuff, because everything's got to hit the firewall to get out. So that gives us more of a breakdown. And the last thing I want to show you is the switches. So again, switches are all network devices around the college. So I can go on to any one of them. So if we go to Vic House, ground floor stack, that's your device which teaches all your classrooms. We can see how many ports are up. So there's 212 ports live. We can see data usage, we can see all the fans, there's 12 fans in total. I've only got 6 power supplies at the moment because the rest are in my boots, which I need to do. But we get a glance of everything we need to do. There is 6 switches in a stack which serve just your floor alone. And from there I can find everything I need to find. If there's a PC that's acting weirdly, I can get the MAC address, I can find what port it's on, I can disconnect it. I can turn ports off from here. I can turn the power off from here, I can reboot it from here, I can reboot it from anywhere. You don't need to be in the course to do it. This is the hardware at a glance. And the good thing with Aruba Central as well, we've got AI. The AI will tell us things that don't look abnormal. So the error is probably going to be port flapping, is it? Yes. So port flapping is when the port keeps coming on, coming off, coming on, coming off, coming on, coming off. And that can be for a few reasons. It's normally cable's dodgy, it's not quite clicked in quite right. For a few things. So AI is integrated, as we all know AI is kind of the next big thing. Cloud is a big thing. The new thing now is AI. We've got it integrated. It tells us everything we need to know. We can do an overview. So I can already tell you what our problems are with the network, which we're addressing, which is why we're doing all this rollout. One of them is DHCP. DHCP is what, every time you connect to the network, you have to get an IP address to do anything. That's the DHCP job, is to give you an IP address. And we know, because the way it was set up years ago, it doesn't work quite well. So we can see that one of the red ones is port flapping. We can see significant DHCP server issues. The AI is telling us, and it'll tell us how to fix it, and we'll go and fix it. It's as straightforward as that. So this is how technology leaped on. We now have the ability to do that kind of stuff. So that's Aruba Central in a whole. That's what I do as a job. If I wanted to change a VLAN, I go into the switch, I go to the port, change the VLAN, it's pushed down, everyone's happy. So that's that. We'll show you a little bit of Microsoft 365, because that's the next one. Can't show you too much because again, because it's got people's names in it, but we'll show you a bit. So Teams telephony. So for people like yourselves who use Teams, this is where we can put you in certain teams. I'm going to tell you my password's expired. Cool. So Teams admin is where we basically put you into groups. This is when we push the new Teams out. There's a brand new Teams out, which has been like completely redesigned and is brand new. This is where we push it out. We can see usage, so who's using it the most, what faculty are using it the most. We can see everything from here. This also deals with all our phones, all the phone lines for the college come through Teams, so we can see all that kind of stuff as well. And again, we can take people out of that group, people in that group, and again, we can do it from anywhere. We don't need to be in the college to do this. Sometimes we get emergency requests, which is don't turn on the phone lines. We can do that from anywhere. That's Teams. Entra is recently had a name change. It's now called Entra, which is, I don't know why, it used to be called Azure, which is what we'll always call it. This is where we control all your logins. So if there's an emergency and someone gets hacked, for example, which does happen every now and again, I log into this, I close that account, I block it, I log it out from everywhere. I do that with a few clicks, it's synced across the internet, and then you pull from all those devices. So, as an example, if we go into users, we can see quite a lot of detail. So if we use mine example, we can see lots of different things. We can see when it was created. So I was created on the 1st of June 2022. We can see I'm part of 25 groups. I've got 23 applications to my name. Licenses, I've got 4. We can see I've got MFA. I've got my last logins. I can see lots, a wealth of information because it's all cloud synced. It's all done in the cloud. You don't have to do anything. We can see a sign-in log. So you can see where I've been signing in across the college or at home. So you can see mainly it's Exeter, and then Somerset, which will be basically when I'm on 4G or 5G, or it shows a bit weirdly when you do phones. So we have to do sometimes investigations. So every time somebody logs in from outside the UK, then that can be if you are generally abroad, or for the most other reasons, if you use a VPN, you obviously show up as a different place. We get an alert straight away, and we can look at that. And if you're in a place we don't think would be normal, if you were to show up and say you logged in Israel, we'd find that quite hard to believe with everything going on. We'd think you'd probably been compromised, and we'd go through the mitigations, and we'd go, the risk of the college is quite high, so therefore we're going to block you. We can do that very quickly. We've got a lot of these. Thankfully it's chilled out a little bit now because VPNs don't work on the college network, just won't let you go out. We used to have this problem though. So that's what we can see. And as I say, we can go in, I can move people in and out of groups. You can see I'm part of the team, estates and IT team. I can take myself out of that. If you were to move to a different group, if you were no longer part of IT, we'd get a change request and we change it on the fly. We change it and in a few seconds you'll update it and it's done. So that's a bit for cloud applications. Again, there's quite a lot of applications assigned to me. Licenses, so mine's going to be basically like yourselves, 365. And Microsoft Visio, so I can do network diagrams. Everything else is included in the top package, which is 365. And authentication methods. So for you guys, you're quite lucky. You don't have to do two-factor if you don't want to. For staff, it's mandatory. So for staff loses their phone, this is how we would come in. We'd go into their user. We can see I've got quite a few devices associated with myself. And we can just delete them out and re-authenticate and get them back online. We can do that from anywhere. So that's a little bit more about Microsoft Cloud. The last one is a new one, which only you guys actually get to use, which is the new interactive screens. So the new screens that we'll put into Victoria House are brand new. So whenever we bring technology into the college, we generally get it months and months and months in advance to test it. Because like I said, we've got to make sure it works for everyone. And the good thing with these boards, they're all cloud-based. So we lock them down so you can't do certain things, so we don't want people logging on their own. It causes authentication issues because people forget they logged into that board. When their password changes, it causes lots of problems. So we lock them down, they don't need to be on the internet. But these boards are getting very close to being ready to go. We've just got a few things we need to iron out. And we can do NFC now, so on the boards there's a little NFC reader. I can go along, I can beep it, bring my OneDrive down. The computer's broken, I don't need that, just do OneDrive now. That's part of that. There's temperature sensors. I can see how hot the rooms are. I don't think there's going to be any online. Oh, there we go. So CCI one's online at the moment. So we can go into that, and then it'll show us a little couple of things. So it shows us all the memory, processing units, storage. I can change the volume here. I can turn it off from here. I can do lots of things from here. Generally, we don't really need to see it. The main purpose of this is to make sure it's all up to date, that the firmware's up to date, it's all compliant. That pretty much, guys, represents some of what we use as a college to the cloud. There's a lot more. This time next year, if we were to do this, we would move more to the cloud. Cloud is the new norm. It's very rare now, like Microsoft has moved most of their products to the cloud. It's quite hard to buy a license for just Office now, which is yours for life. We've moved away from that model, and we now move to the cloud and what we call SaaS, software as a service. So as that's kind of come in, our budget's had to increase to accommodate that. But that's what we have done. A very small insight, what we do as a team to make sure the college we're ready for you, so you can use the cloud and enjoy what you do. And hopefully, if you get anything from this, myself was sat in a room like yourselves now. I had this at Walsall College and I thought it was really good. I spoke to Ian before about doing this because actually why get third party people in from all these suppliers, and actually you've got your own IT team actually do this as a day job, and we can show you live your own college. You've seen your own college now, which hopefully gives you a bit more perspective as just the amount of technology we have to use just to make things happen. The internet doesn't just happen. There's a lot of work that goes into it. So has anybody got any questions? It doesn't necessarily have to be about the cloud. It could be anything to do with IT, whether it's working here or anything you want to know. This is your opportunity to do it. You've got 10 minutes. Completely up to you.